Hiya there, welcome to Win or Lose, and today we're going to talk about how we can put on big games in small spaces. Now, every hobbyist, I think, would all love to have their own bespoke gaming area. You know, if that's like a gaming room or a shed or a separate venue, like a lock, you know, like their own private clubhouse or whatever. We would all love a space that's just set up, ready to go, that's there for there for the hobby. But in reality, a lot of us don't have that luxury. I mean, I do have a locker uh, where I do put my stuff, but it's a good 40-minute drive away from where I actually live. So I moved away from the area where I have that, so I don't really get there often. And since I've lived in this area, the area that I am now, all the people, there's plenty of gaming venues around, so no one wants to go that way. But I still like to play some games at home, so this is where I'm going to talk about my solutions, because I live in a two-bedroom flat. I live with my partner, I live with my two kids, and there just ain't the room for a permanent setup. So I'm going to talk through some of my solutions, because I think on paper, someone will relegate you and say, like, because you've got little space, you're just going to be playing skirmish games, 2x2, 3x3 feet, possibly 4x4. That's your limit. But that's not the case. What I'm going to propose are ways where you can put on the biggest apocalypse, mega game that you want, and you can live in the smallest of spaces, and you can still achieve that. So, um, we'll begin. So my first one, I'll cut to a video in a minute. I'll show you my own personal setup. Is the simplest and very cheap way to just have a gaming table. And what I'll cut to it in a minute, but basically it's two very cheap pasting tables with a mat thrown over, and these can fold up and fold away under my sofas, and also I have another under bed container that has my scenery. So cut to the video now, and I'll show you. So here we are at the lair of Ishwood. I'm about to take out the two tables. I bought these from Wilko's, £10 each. As you can see, they fit nicely under my sofas. I'm going to be folding them out, as shown by my speedy self. Button them up together to make a 6x4 area. Then I'm going to be rolling out a old GW fleece mat. They don't make these anymore, sadly. They were £25 at the time, but they're quite expensive now. But I am going to show you a cheaper alternative. Just a quick note that the scenery is from a £40 Kill Team starter set. So again, very cheap setup. But the alternative option, which you'll see in a sec, is from Aldi's. It cost me £6, as shown. The only catch with this is 6x3. But if you take into account you move away from deployment, this is not really an issue. So that was that solution. So we're going to go on to the next solution now, which is what I call battlefield subsections. Now, the idea of this is, sadly, I won't have the other two ideas. I haven't got any visual answers for you, so you're just going to have to like listen, try and get what I'm talking about. But yeah, this one's called battlefield subsections. Now, works in a home that has a lot of workspaces, like small tables and whatnot, but nothing bigger than like a 3x3 or area. Maybe you have one or two that's 4x4. But there's loads of little flat sections around your whole home. Now, what you can do, instead of when you think of your battlefield in a war game, think of this one big plot of land that your entire force fights on. Think of it about small, separate areas that are like generally isolated from each other, that all have strategic value, and your forces are going to have to divide up, right? So you could do like a kind of special ops mission where if you've got like you're divided up forces coming from like air drop down onto these areas to do the separate things, or maybe if it's like Sigmar, you've got these each ball represents a small floating island or rock that's like connected up by portals, or trying to think. Oh, I did have a third one. Where was it? Anyway, I couldn't think of it. Sorry, I had a cut. I couldn't think of the third option. But yeah, so you just thinking of because like take the idea of like Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. The Battle of Endor was in fact three mini smaller battles in one. You had the fight between Luke and Vader on the Death Star. You had the battle on the actual moon of Endor between Han Solo leading the rebels to take over that bunker, and then you had the fleet battle to around the actual space station itself. Now we can take that idea. I mean, you don't have to do fleet, land, duel. You can just do three other things, but each one has their own value. And what this can do is create a really fun game where things that normally get picked off won't be, because they've got their own little isolated arenas. So things will be operating very differently to then operating on one big flat, not flat, but one big board. But you'll be moving around your home from this location to this location to this location, to resolve each one in turn. And this could lead to quite a fun and very different way of playing your game. And I think it's very interesting. And then like when you finish up one area, you can like one area starts to clear up, you can figure about like trying to get like a drop ship in, or you're a sorcerer opening a portal, so those forces that are now freed up can help to reinforce another sub area where maybe your forces are not doing so well. So as I said, it opens up this new style of game that you just couldn't do, even if you had an 8x4 board, or you just couldn't pull that off. So the strength, even though your area is small, you've made it to your advantage. So yeah, that's the idea of the subsection. So the next idea is a vertical board. And what I mean on a vertical board is obviously table lays flat. Yeah, we're going to turn this up, so it's vertical, and this can represent like the Necromunda thing of fighting in a futuristic hive complex, or modern day, like a scaling up a skyscraper, or a fantasy battle where you're fighting up a cliff face, or even a space starship exterior. Troops are landing with like vacuum suits on and are fighting on the exterior of a spaceship. Now the way you can pull this off, because I mean this is not a cheap solution anyway. I don't think you can go about this anyway as a cheap idea. But there's like the way where you can build like little platforms coming off your vertical board. And it puts down, so you got your vertical board, then you make these series of platforms, like almost like a 2D platform game, and you connect them up. And so one side starts at the top, one starts at the bottom, and you can do it either side, and they're all fighting that way. Or you could do magnets, so your board can be a sheet piece of steel, and you put magnets on the underside of your bases. I mean, that'd be great if you're doing like a Starship game, because you get that real feeling of zero gravity with your men literally walking, like coming out, walking up there. Might be a bit trickier with some of the vehicles if your models are quite weighty to pull that off, but there's the ideas there. And I mean, I think of the Starship one now. What amazing for a breakthrough! Like if you did like a breakthrough scenario where like I don't know, like set in Horus Heresy, where like I think they did it in one of the novels, No Fear, like the Ultramarines trying to board a word bearer's vessel, and you're trying to like find an entry point within the starship, so they're pushing up while the word bearers are trying to push them away. I mean, great idea. And again, the limitation, I can't have a flat board, but you go to vertical and it unlocks new things and new potentials and ideas. And then the last one is, the last idea is to create a tower board. Now that's very simply think of it as like a 2x2 boards, but you stack them up on each other, so it's like a kind of skyscraper or a tower block. And again, this would be great for like a fighting up a sorcerer's tower in fantasy, or a factory raid for World War II, or modern day, like a counter-terrorist conflict. You imagine like your troops, like you thought of like some rules mechanisms where troops can like rappel down the exterior and move from one level to another. I mean, how great's that? And yeah, I mean, this is what this video is trying to point out, which is you look at it initially and go, I haven't got the room for a 6x4 board. You know what you know, my ability to either be a hobby host or having games at home are kaput. And I hope what this video shows is maybe the conventional way of doing it is not open to you, but look at all these new fun ideas that you can just pull off. Which, let's be honest, if I got invited around my mate's house and he said, today we're playing this vertical game to take you know, the boarding action on the starship, or we're going to be doing like a counter-terrorist rappelling down a skyscraper, I'll take that over the standard 6x4 board any day of the week. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you've got any more ideas on you know, small spaces, or you want to talk to me more about what I've been going on about, or if you've seen things that are great examples, we have a Facebook group, Win or Lose Gaming. Please, everyone's welcome to join that and post away anything hobby related. If you just want to talk to me, or you know, raise up anything that's been covered in any of my videos, great place. So yeah, or if you want to say anything in the comments below, obviously there's another option. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and remember, win or lose, just have fun.